Today, they look at the issue of KOOSH and the state of national emergency with President Biopas on drug and substance abuse, how this will support the fight against KOOSH and give strength to the law them we dey for fight against drug abuse in the country. We'll be done introduce with studio guests them in case you just join we inside the program today. We want for welcome again. We studio guest them Ibrahim Tommy. We come out from Center for Accountability and the Rule of Law. Carl, we go cancel we within this law or the state of emergency mean or national emergency mean on drug and substance abuse in terms of getting to the law and self-implement law them we therefore fight against drug and substance abuse in the country. Good morning again and welcome to the program, Ibrahim Tommy.
Good morning, thank you very much. I'm glad for there.
Okay, also we get now the program, the Executive Director, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, we na Andrew Jaiah Kaikai, we this agency, na body, we government form for support against the fight against drug abuse and other substance them with among young people them. Good morning and welcome to the program, Andrew Jaiah Kaikai.
Good morning.
And also inside the program, we want to welcome Abib Kamara, Executive Director of Social Linkage for Youth Development and Child Link. This body don't they work with drug abusers them for rehabilitate them and don't they work with young people them within them position in the fight against KOOSH and within the president's pronouncement mean against the fight against KOOSH. We get another studio. Good morning and welcome to the program once more.
Yeah, good morning, 98. Good morning, Sierra Leone.
Okay, I'll start with the Executive Director, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Andrew Jaiah Kaikai, as this now government agency we created for fight against drug abuse in the country. And the KOOSH now one of the things that this agency they fight against. Once again, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
It's been a while since we last hosted you on this program on the issue of KOOSH. What thing don't change from that time we host you to now in the fight?
Good morning again, me family, Sierra Leoneans them, here in Sierra Leone and abroad. What it don't change? Of course, we all know what it don't change. What it don't change is the significant step where the nation don't take forward. Now, President Julius Marabio, in declaration of emergency against this drug. Now, the biggest change down there in the room right now. And me as head of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, me and me staff them, including all the one they will be done the work on this job. Habibu Sidonaya, me and Habibu now go all over this country, all over Freetown, they do sensitization. So we gladly, because this way president don't do so now. They don't focus. The drug national, we be done the work. We with the police them, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Ministry of Social Welfare, we all be done come together. We don't begin the work. But what the president don't do now, essentially, we're so significant and we're so important in we fight against drug going forward, is that now we know, say now, the entire Sierra Leone people, the entire government now really don't center focus, now laser focus on eradicating this KOOSH drug in this country.
So in terms of President Bio in pronouncement, we do Thursday, April 4, also declare a national health emergency. You talk about a lot don't change. The lot we don't change, wait it bring come into reality, where you will point out for say from where that pronouncement they make, we they in this stage of getting it right.
First of all, in the last month, particularly in the last 2 weeks before the president's pronouncement, the Minister of Internal Affairs, Major General Taluva, we don't form at EU level, we don't form a task force. We comprise of the Sierra Leone Police, the NDLEA. If we don't join we together, and I make una go notice say even before President announced last week Thursday, una go be see the major crackdown we don't begin because of Major Taluva own determination. And we always be done to do the work.
The major crackdown in which area? We talk about the issue of drugs, you get so many aspects where you they look at. You get the victim already, the one who they bring them, the one who they sell them, the one who they take them. When you talk about crackdown, in which aspect exactly?
When I say major crackdown, I really specifically mean the law enforcement side. Because now, when I go see, say, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, the police, Inspector General IG, Fire Cell, and me myself with my own agency, would all begin go after the one way they bring drugs can at this country.
And none of them.
Anybody where they bring drugs can. What we don't do, we don't begin going at all the areas there, Freetown particularly. Anybody where they keep in compound open for people and for Sunday for do drugs, we don't they go after them. All the half puts them or shed the way that we don't make around Freetown and the neighborhoods them. We don't go there, we don't broke all. And we don't begin arrest the one that they peddle the drugs, the one that they sell and trade. When I go see evidence of that in YouTube, all over social media, that the police don't begin make significant arrest them. And even last week, when I see say they begin bring people that come in, as we get information, the police is going after you, NDLEA is going after you.
Now, before this committee, or before the task force where you make mention of on President Bio announcement, already we don't get interministerial committee on KOOSH and drug abuse in the country. And you don't go from slum communities to slum communities to talk to young people. But one of the plea where you make in parliament now that if government know they empower the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, make them this banner. You don't they cry for help. And when you look at the NDLEA, it's very challenging for get resources, whether human or financial resources, even mobility for fight against KOOSH, don't be one of the major cries there. With this national state of emergency or national emergency on drug and substance abuse, anything don't change in the story of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency for sake of the thing they want to be, they cry for support in the fight against KOOSH.
Yes, the major change will not happen. Again, I go back to President Bio in declaration of a national health emergency on drugs last week, Thursday. What did that mean for me? And what did that mean for the NDLEA? Now that make a talk saying, like yesterday I was saying, right now, me are the most happy government worker in this country. Because what did that mean? Since now we don't get this pronouncement and declaration from the president for forming a national task force, it will be multi-sectorial. But of course, everybody knows the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, now the only agency where mandated by government for provide leadership and coordinate all issues relating to drug control, eradicating drug abuse, then illicit drugs in this country. Now we agency responsible. By this pronouncement now, that means to say all government attention now, they turn on drugs in this country. All government attention now will be centered and focused. Everybody will focus. Government will provide money now for this. So at the end of the day, really, by the time they drive KOOSH come out in this country, by the time they eradicate KOOSH come out in this country, me excited and believe, say, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, as an agency, it will go in a long way for begin really stand on its own.
So looking at the pronouncement where you say this don't show say government don't take the fight against any form of drug intake serious. Waiting at the status of all these issues, we talk about drugs intake and the one you bring them to the country, what you go say? From that pronouncement to now, it don't bring any fear among all form of people who are involved?
Absolutely.
How you know that?
Absolutely. The president is the first gentleman of this country. The president is the commander-in-chief of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces. And more and more and more. So when the president don't talk, all man don't stand to attention. Now that make una hear in the president in pronouncement, he specifically say, your time is up. You where they bring drug can at this country. You where they peddle on a street. You where they manufacture and a small lab now and host them. Not to Andrew Jaiah Kaikai say, not to Fire Cell say. It is the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. They don't say their time is up. Okay. And also one of the biggest things I hear is say, there's going to be no sacred cows.
The issue of drug abuse starts with the issue of pampas water. say it come to Diamond Bone and it come to KOOSH. This now 2-3 years down the line, it don't begin rampant. Now government they pull state of emergency or national health emergency on drug and substance abuse. You think it's at the right time or government late for count these pronouncements?
For me, always me go tell you, I am excited, I'm happy about this pronouncement. You mentioned Pampers water. Yes, we get that issue there. But you go notice when government really begin for clamp down with the police and everybody on board, the pharmaceutical board, when they begin clamp down, me and you, where they in a studio today, every Sierra Leonean where they listen at this country today, go now tell you, say, we not get Pampers water issue again. We don't pass beyond that day. And one of the things there about drugs, we make you for always there in a state of preparedness and readiness is that drug, like when you lock one door, but other one open. You open here, other one you shut here. That's how it happen. Now today we are dealing with KOOSH. It will be another thing tomorrow. That's how the one way they deal with drugs, the one way they fail living through that way. They try for move one step ahead before any government. This is not just Sierra Leone. You go to America. America, they deal with the same thing.
So in terms of you being happy about all these pronouncements made by His Excellency, Osai declaring national health emergency on all form of drugs. Another thought could they say, is it that you're happy for the verbal declaration and commitment we make, or rather you need something else where now there's more support where you emphasize on during your meeting where you get with member of parliament them? Which way for be more prefer forget?
My happiness now all round. When I say all round, I mean all round. Because you talk about the verbal statement. It is not just verbal. It is also emotional. It is also strengthening. Because everybody in this country, the mama and papa them, when they picking them, don't die from KOOSH. The broke heart way people they get, as I the worker now, all the communities in this country, they all have no say at this moment. They're glad.
Okay. Continue for the with me in case you just join me inside this edition of the program. Good morning, hello. You listen to Andrew Jaiah Kaikai, Executive Director, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, where they talk about outside the fight against all forms of drug day, from where President Bill declare national health emergency, and waiting this mean to the fight. Inside the program, we bring in we other studio guest Abib Kamara, Executive Director, Social Linkages for Youth Development and Child Link. Excuse me. So, Abib, you know, your organization and one way they look at all forms of drugs for a very long time. You don't raise awareness, and for a very long time, they bring treatment, especially for HIV and AIDS patients them and other forms of drug intake them working rampant in the country. When you look at the health emergency where President Bill don't declare, what you kind of your mind, where you look at how much the emphasis come out from the public as somebody we all you don't need to do in your life. Now for I guess young people where they go into drugs, we can end up be victim and all.
Yeah, I want to say good morning again to all Sierra Leoneans. For we in SLYDCL and civil society, though we have been calling for this national emergency for a kind to being, but for the past 2 weeks was the height of this drug-related issue in Sierra Leone. It's never too late, but we therefore put more emphasis on it, more especially when it comes to Bill. We get this thing after the town hall meeting to this, but the town hall meeting, they built out way mean to the town hall meeting. To us, those that are experts, maybe they work towards this way when it comes to picking people for where they go advocate. The one they all see on the civil society part, we are not people we don't want to talk about drugs, but that's why we are all civil society. But we'll therefore take these drug issues very serious. If we want to take this drug issue very serious, we get two laws. We don't always impede the right of drug users and always the block. The 2001 Pharmacy Acts and the 2008 drug law, when the cocaine plane landed from Venezuela to this country, the then parliament in 2008 rushed to give us a drug act, a national drug act under a certificate of emergency. We, from that time, we don't say that was not correct, but we have been working with that law. And again, to the judiciary, it come even from the Attorney General, from the town hall meeting, that most magistrates and judges then has been using the 2001 drug law. And that 2000 drug law, for we, obsolete, and the offenses maybe they be so minor. And now that they don't tell everybody when at the judiciary, when at the bench, for use the 2008 Drug Act, because the 2008 Drug Act gets a tougher sentence to what. But for we, that 2008 drug law get bokuting way no be day, like the job what they do in a harm reduction. Harm reduction is to reduce harm from the drugs. But we just they do that job because in 2016 UNGAS, which is the Universal Health Coverage, which is the United Nations Special Session on Drugs, which all countries in 2016, and representing Sierra Leone was the late Minister of Internal Affairs, J.B. Dauda. Naimi signed a UN America, and that's they be recommend 100 recommendations in terms of approaching drug-related issues, and harm reduction be very key. Why make we don't see arrest because we don't sign that with itself again. For many countries able attain the UHC, which the Universal Health Coverage, by leaving no population behind. But we miss out as a country. When the war finished at this country, we never did any rehabilitation. Even the TRC recommends that 85% of those who fought the war were substance abuse users. Before 2001, we never saw drug-related issues within our communities. But drug is something very hereditary. Majority of people who fought the war went back to community and reintegrated into community. Most of the Pekin now they see where they on them or the population now on the wartime.
So through your organization, young people where una can intervene and able for rehabilitate can tell on the story waiting can lead them into this. In this area of KOOSH, with the different engagements we una don't do with young people, we're not in story on going on the wrong path on drug intake.
One, peer pressure, and two, we all know the country in status of unemployment and livelihood support. And again, in Sierra Leone, people has been protecting the supply route as against the victims. To us and internationally, people who use drugs needs attention and they need a public health support. And this thing where we don't do in this country. And my sister for the past 3 months give a challenge to even the national fight. Because one, the people the way they don't abuse their right, they have gone underground now. I can tell you about 2 communities, one the Lumley community and the Godrich community. Like you go to Shalawata, now because of the approach where they don't do, now that they see they don't go for use these drugs. You have a boat where they pay 15,000, they get for cross, go meet people in a boat. The Lumley community within back of Golf Club, the New City and Bunga Town, there is a creek around that area, a mango creek. Now the boys they don't go. So we don't say we be against communities of putting a primitive approach on those that they use drugs. And as a country, government know what is saying, president they say enough is enough. But drug work and these strategies where they don't put on, we have to really push. And again, the actual soldiers will get the mandate. The neighbor mandate came in 2002 with the war done. When the TRC recommend who will get the NDLEA. NDLEA is illy budgeted for. NDLEA cannot boast more than 25 staff. And NDLEA is just within Western Urban. And now the former director makes Denguna Lunge and Wataki. 4 staff now Wataki, 4 staff with dealing drugs. For us, it is unacceptable. And I have been following the budget hearing of the NDLEA since 2008 with that act come on. Even waiting and they apply for, waiting the budget for me and finance give them. Finance not they all ever and allocate more than 2 quarters budget to NDLEA. So where is the sincerity? Now, like I can just speak from within the director, they say a happy. Because if you're happy now, national and public health, what is said, government get for committed of budgeting that.
But let we look at one thing where you mentioned, say, the community people don't begin take the law into their own and say, yes, we they eradicate drug now we own communities them. Is it that them lose faith in the government's fight against KOOSH that themselves want come on board now and fight KOOSH for themselves that they don't look up to the states nor able to take them to the level where they want them?
I want to say again, if president not be last week Thursday call on this, we don't say and this match and the community we don't take what he said. Mob justice for don't start from that and we don't begin to see them. But the community and then we get a different approach. Everybody knows that these drugs is being produced in community, is being sold in community, and everything about it. That for that, this drug issue for Wacham as a community lens, and everything is in the community. And if the community now, like Godrich yesterday, so many things happened Godrich yesterday. See, young people came together yesterday, they're okay now. KOOSH must go. And yesterday they have shifted their approach to the one way they sell, the houses the way that they do. This is not just a simple economics. What will cut the supply route, you go see. But to be mindful, after food, crude oil, the third largest business is illicit drug. And the people that with illicit drug material they thrive in any country we get money even than some economy in West Africa. So if you go back to the Institute of Kofi Annan and the West Africa Drug Commission, we don't pull a report last year. We then put about five countries, Sierra Leone among those countries, where we can let for take drug issues there. More especially, President in the first inning, in back the way it be open parliament, May 10, he promised this country that we have to review the 2008 drug law. And up to now, we are yet to see that. And even in the master plan of the NDLEA SFC, we have to review those laws. Because certain laws, then they, what he said, like one of the laws, the way, since that drug act did not form in 2018, and that drug act be supposed to form committees there within the district and within the regions there. Anybody will go now police, when they arrest, we go now police with drug and law, and with drug problem. That person has to have a referral to either rehabilitation. But since then, we don't see that. And now we have to be sincere as a country. Like what president and vice president say on that 27th, I beg to differ from that. Say nobody not going to be billable. We recently see a treason case where they go on at this country. Then they bill somebody for medical. We say nobody know the we billable. That other discussion will go with it.
Sure.
But we have to
continue for the with Abib Kamara, Executive Director of Social Linkages for Youth Development and Child Link. We talk from the civil society angle on the issue of drugs and also the national health emergency with President Bio make this BNT Musa.
We come to the Executive Director for Center for Accountability and the Rule of Law, Carl Wayne Ibrahim Tommy. He did inside the program for talk about the legal aspects in the national health emergency and drug and substance abuse. We President Bill pronounced this BNTM. Good morning once more, Ibrahim Tommy, and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
You don't be quiet for some time now. They listen to your co-panelists. Now we look at the pronouncement by the president. What does it mean for the fight against drug in the country from the legal standpoint?
Thank you very much. I think we all for accept now say KOOSH really done the destroy. We young and even old. At the work in this country and at the travel across the country, you will think that KOOSH na freedom problem, not a freedom problem. It is at the last village. I work for a company where they require me for go boom penguin at the border with Salon Guinea border. I can drive and they see young men by the roadside smoking KOOSH. So you don't penetrate the length and breadth of this country, and it is killing our young people. It destroy families. It destroy economies. I know families apart from the lives and the health we KOOSH undermine. I know families we them business they don't destroy because they get picking, they get family member, they smoke KOOSH, they thief the business money and they don't shut down business. So it's really it's a serious issue, and I think the declaration of national emergency hopefully now a statement by the president and the government for say will they take next steps, which is why I want to really talk about what's now a state of emergency. We declare state of emergency. Why you declare state of emergency?
Why?
You declare state of emergency usually for free up funds, and that's the issue that you guys have been skirting around. You know, you just declare state of emergency because you want make an attempt for deal with the situation. It empower you for free up funds, for mobilize assistance, and temporarily for sort of get or use powers we ordinarily you not get for respond to any threat to peace, to public order, to public safety. So the law, the Constitution of Sierra Leone empower the president under Section 29 for declare a state of public emergency where a state of emergency has commenced or it is imminent, in other words, it's about for commence. And a number of circumstances, I think 6 circumstances, way for influence that declaration there. Again, for deal with, for example, public health, like I don't talk, public order, state of war, security, natural disasters, etc. In this case, I think again for deal with public health, public safety, public order, and to be honest, if we now take serious, strong, collective steps for make sure say we stop this, it go hit every family. This is not just for the poor. You know, right now they see what they're facing at the poor people, now the more they partake of this. Unfortunately, we the working class, middle class, we the go work, we left with can go school. The level of drug intake among young boys, among university students, both men and women. Sometimes when you hang out at the social places, na beaches, you go clubs around, you see young men smoking KOOSH, like for fun. It is destroying families. I know families. Hardly any family in Salone are affected by this KOOSH problem. Even myself, I have a family member who is a victim. So why do I say that? I say that for make we all understand, say, government get a role for play, and hopefully in the course of this conversation, we'll talk about the role of government get for play. But I think we need to get a community, a family, community, societal response to this thing. We get citizens' power of arrest. And by the way, let me say this. I agree with me Paddy we talk say Abibo talk say we not for just take a criminal approach. By all means, I agree say the one that they produce, import, sell, KOOSH, we for deal with them is a criminal issue. But the consumers need more than just incarceration or punishment. We need to rehabilitate them. It's a social problem. It's a health problem. I mean, people, we need for firm ways, invest money. So this state of emergency, for me, there are a number of measures we go indicate the government really serious about them. First, they need for free up funds. They need for make sure, say, there is enough for support, not just the anti-drug laws, but even the health sector. Again, as I've said, this is a health crisis they create. I say the health sector, not just talk about the one they provide, clinical services. Even we mental home, Kisi, Dr. Jallo Deanda, he may need a lot of resources. I know the government don't take steps over the last few weeks for providing rehabilitation services, but a lot more needs to be done. We need to make sure, say, then one. Secondly, the one that way they produce, and unfortunately, we now get multiple sources. You know, sometimes when we talk about this, it's like now one source, or now one person, or 2 people in there. No. There are multiple sources from Liberia, from Guinea, and they are local producers. We have to go against those people like we have never done. That is how I, speaking for myself and for my organization, go say this government really mean this state of public emergency.
No. Listening to Abib just now, make mention, say, the judiciary, most times they use the early 2000 law, is it 2001 or 2, drug law enforcement, and also we get the 2008 law when the cocaine plane been land, the emergency law where the country been passed, but the judiciary be they use the one way they be don't pass earlier, we not get severe punishment compared to 2008, and we don't get an instance who say the Inspector General of Police openly accuse the judiciary of one of the issue or one of the factors that made them bug the fight in the fight against KOOSH. We see the exchange between the judiciary and the IG on who they undermine or who they need to undermine. For you, coming from the legal perspective, you think say with this national health emergency on drug and substance abuse, we need a reform in the laws, or that way the laws that we dey for deal with people that we deal in drugs sufficient?
No. I mean, I think again from a purely social angle, way they look at consumers. I mean, now we separate the issues, Musa. Good question, by the way. But let's separate the issues. The one that they consume drugs, MEC will not just use enforcement as a tool for deal with them. The one that where they produce them, this is where perhaps you question important. The one that they produce them, where they sell them. And by the way,
Because
the
question is for that way then they distribute or import them, because if supply chain not there, people don't know go take
that's
am.
what I'm addressing now. So the point I make is keep in mind that there is evidence that most people who they produce, peddle or sell drugs, no, they actually partake of them. They don't. Which is why for them, now the law need for work. For them, we for make sure say we empower the police, we empower the national drug enforcement agency, we empower communities for make sure say we go after them. We get citizens' power of arrest. So that's why civil society, a lot needs to be done for make sure say enforcement is critical, but rehabilitation, awareness raising is also very important. Citizens they get power for arrest. If you see person they sell, produce drug, you get power for arrest and not just beat them, not beat them. And Habib talk about mob justice, but don't begin saying we get the capacity as citizens, the constitution with the power for arrest wrongdoer. Arrest them, hand them over to the police because we need to make sure say we cut off, like you said, Musa, let's cut off the supply chain. And we have to be serious about it. We have to mean it, and we need to go after everybody with the fiber and the powers we will get.
We come to the chief executive for the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Andrew Jaiah Kaikai. We don't talk about the emergency, and you say now one way you welcome. But at the end of the day, the concern we don't come up from the public that resources not there for UNA as an agency where they lead the fight against KOOSH and other drug abuse in the country. With this emergency, in any way, governments don't inform UNA, say they don't set particular couple aside for UNA or promise for do that.
Government they put the modalities there in place right now as we talk.
They don't reach out to UNA and inform UNA, say, with this national health emergency on drug and substance abuse, and Jaiah Kaikai, this now the budget now, emergency budget, who they plan for UNA for handle the fight. And I remember the last time, say, even bicycle, you mentioned, say, you know, you go to slum communities, them, you work go to slum communities, them. All this needed, perhaps, when I need vehicles, them. And Abib mentioned, say, we are not decentralizing on our activities, them. In any way, this national health emergency on drug and substance abuse, they don't inform UNA of all the concerns that UNA they talk about. Instead of, okay, perhaps you think, say, with this, then we don't do them.
As I've been told, as I've been talked earlier, with the announcement and proclamation by President, we know say the situation at the agency it change.
This is not just a belief on us until they don't tell UNA. It's good that we talk frankly. I know it will be part of government. It will be difficult for you perhaps, but it's good that we talk frankly on the status, not for you perhaps, as Andrew Jaiah Kaikai. It's about the young generation we then pass the national state of emergency for. What did they talk? So it's just a belief on us until they don't promise UNA.
Now a belief, now something they don't promise, and something I don't say government they work on.
So, Mr. Kaikai, aside the presidential declaration on this whole issue, waiting NDLEA need for really take this fight serious so that we go get them right. When are the first things we for put in place?
First thing, as I've been talking to in November, I don't talk all over the country, any south I don't go. Like now, first thing, we need vehicles there.
Okay.
And government they in the process of providing those.
Still in the process?
Yes.
How much vehicles them they in the process for support now with? Because the last time I check out, somebody go tell me say now one vehicle no more than get we perhaps not even that functional.
No,
how much they don't promise now?
The agency not get vehicle right now as I talk. But I know say all of those things they come into play with this proclamation.
Which again are the second option
we need
of
for
priority?
The entire National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, as I've been saying in the parliament, because I get to be honest with everybody, I get to be honest with the country. Now that make when I go parliament about 3 weeks ago or so, now the naked truth I talk. That the agency as an agency need for be decentralized. As of now, the agency has only 12 permanent staff.
12 permanent staff.
12 permanent staff that the agency gets. But this is an agency we need for the all over this country. We need for get offices now all the major districts of this country.
So in terms of addressing this whole issue of drug activity and KOOSH intake, I mean, how far you don't reach now the country, like in terms of all you told them we don't need to side we don't need to go and engage people in community outreach. Also now you last stop for say, well, where go ya Nayana me last stop and so not, because according to Mr. Tommy, this is not just within Freetown, it goes beyond.
All we talk about, don't talk on radio, on TV, with folks around, other people, then we all know say KOOSH don't take over this country. No village, no day we go as we talk right now. We not go meet thousands of people and they should not nod. No village, no day we not reach. And we concerned about that because me they deal with the raw emotions of people. Now me don't go to the community there. You see the show foot there. You see the swords there at the back. So it's everywhere.
So in terms of addressing this issue, are you to see this fight against all forms of, drug intake, KOOSH, ecstasy, and other one? Do you think there's something we una go really defeat at the end of the day? Because already waiting for make you get them right, the things that you need, vehicle and other things, and all forthcoming it to you.
Me believe say na federal will win. I absolutely believe in that. As long as the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and now President don't declare say we can't get we be to get multi-sectorial effort before, but now more than ever with the declaration from the President himself, I know say like when my brother been talk just now, when he declare a national health emergency, you get for ring fence funds, you get for direct all your attention, funding and healthing. So now that make I believe say now a fight all will win. And now more than ever, me believe say this government go support me for win this fight, and all the agencies that way government they bring come together.
You don't so much emphasize on president in declaration. Is it that apart from that declaration, the agency on its own, not for be able to make let the public understand and know say this issue of KOOSH and other forms of drugs and a serious thing?
Something you and I know say everybody now in this country knows say KOOSH serious.
No, they say apart from president in declaration, is it that the agency on its own, not for be able to make let the public understand and know say the issue of all forms of drugs serious and they affect everybody direct or indirectly?
The agency, even before the announcement, the reason why the issue of drugs don't heighten right now, it's because the agency has been working.
Oh, you mean the public outcry?
The public outcry.
Okay.
Now, based because we don't work. Look how BBC done here. In the some time back, we engaged on 10 community sensitizations all around the Freetown area and over Freetown. Now, me and Habib go. Okay. So as we talk, because they create awareness, because they reach into the communities there, and this fete, now community fete.
Okay.
The paramount chiefs there will upline within the communities there, because every community where you go, the community people there, they know that they sell drug, they know that they smoker, they know that they peddler. So now make without community, we not going to do nothing. But the communities they are aware based on the work where the NDLEA with Habib there, other organizations them, what we don't they do.
Okay.
Now we create the awareness.
Continue for stay with me inside the program, Andrew Jaiah Kaikai. We will come back. We will look at some effort that we government don't put in, like the rehabilitation center, waiting at the status of now because concerns and don't come out from that angle. But we come to Habib. We now civil society. We don't support the fight against KOOSH and other drug intake in the country. At this stage, what do you think say expected from government in terms of resource mobilization for support the fight against KOOSH? Because for now one of the key components in the fight against KOOSH.
Yeah, resource now one of the things we for put a priority to, and like within Brother Jaiah, they say resources now the key thing we need for day now. I need say from Thursday to this Tuesday is about 4 to 5 days. That way we don't get this thing. The finance ministry really needs for response quicker, and the president say enough is enough. And this industry will fight. That industry is very clever, and then get the resources at hand. people when they do drugs related business, then put something aside with the cable and with the cable pass on and men and work go through. And again, if we take for provide resources, now so the game will change hand. And I go on for tell this household today that the selling of KOOSH, the narratives be don't change. Even one of where we and how can I say then we telephone booths they all they see they are selling those things. Even the market, you get possibly they go pop out in a market na Maggi they sell, not to Maggi na KOOSH they sell. And KOOSH don't enter into market. KOOSH don't enter into we telecommunication industry. Not of the main industry, the one they win an agent, the way they sell the credit, the way they sell top ups, them, where they sell mobile money. So as a country, we get for think faster because that go even pull with itself. The community, for watch us community lens, the community powers, and I want to call up with local council. The municipalities, when I was studying in Kenya, and at that time the Kenya get a height of heroin, where we call this country brown. The 35 municipalities that Kenya comes together and put bylaws. Any household where they sell less substance, they already keep them people and that household has to be seized. So now government don't give power, president don't talk. Just like we get structures then where we see Ebola, we get structures there where we follow through and COVID. So those some of those structures in there we will still use them. And again, we get a commission of public health and government for really emphasize money neither we issue. If we not get money for this fight, we lost this fight.
Abib, you make mention of community people taking the fight in their own hands. When you look back to the fight against drug, they see people don't they get concerned and don't get skepticism about government commitment in the fight against drug in the country. One of the instances then at the time where a container we come with plenty concerns in this country, where after some days where they empty and they say a gizzard, where some people believe say gizzard no they will come up Brazil and come back from this place. They see that discussion among the people. Then kind of happenings and the people will be done to get skepticism about government commitment and sincerity in the fight against KOOSH. Now the states of national health emergency don't come. They call on the Ministry of Finance and our agencies them for pull together resources for support the fight against KOOSH. You think that this could be achievable with this national health emergency on drug and substance abuse?
And I want to even say thanks to Parliament in this. And that open me parliamentarian, where Parliament be called. We now see the narrative of customs, ports. And there was a questions asked by parliamentarians if all of them containers with the can of this country really get time for search them, then talks in a scanner, and the scanner know with itself. So, like there was a recommendation made by one parliamentarian that now with this emergency or this increase of their substance there, then get forget ad hoc staff them, if not even by one and one things will the search. But now, not to before we go into Christmas. Some tramadol can at this country, the percentage of that tramadol will not supposed to get at this country. So the water key, the customs really get for due diligence to this nation because most of the chemicals the way they come they pass through water key and different agencies there. And again, we don't see in this country lately where this drug issue can at this country, like the area where the Juba community. Before the town hall meeting, a very big baron was arrested based on community response. That person go along the police station, it not even take 2 hours. He returned back to the community working as a giant and began cause people there. So, I want to tell sincerity to the law enforcers, more the police. You people are using government fear for go do arrest, government resources, now that they go do arrest with. And you get other entities then where they know they even get fear for go do anything and but now they get vehicles now they go do arrests. But when they come back, the substance they will they pull in communities, they see them back, return back to communities, and the people them whether the perpetrators them when and then they do the thing. Later we see in a community.
So about we follow up by call from above.
Call from above, wherever it is coming from. Now in this drug fight, not to call from above because we give them power. And they are there representing us, and they took oath. And that's the reason they oath then they returns to people in power. This me is very emotional because I'm seeing things every day. Like right now, we get a facility. What would they do? 1 month facility under this bridge now. He caught yesterday. If you see some homes there, you get some people that know they come out again. Let people who in power where they call the police. May they go see them till the day what it happens to young people. So on that note, me just they call upon the HE. You don't give you a TCF, but you get for monitor. And despite again you say now you and advisors then get for lead this fight. May your advisors and all can tell you different things. You say if you get for dinner the ground. Because if we fail on this fight, now you don't fail. And you get you 5 big programs. The number 1 program where you say feed Sierra Leone. The one that was supposed to be the mine sharing. We're supposed for work. Now you go to village and now we they get a labor waiting set because all the young men away for dinner farm now they on this.
So in terms of Wataki, where you mentioned at the key entry points, Daniel, don't say issue of container the way they come. Where at the end of the day, you don't know side and go if they open and waiting they go don't declare
like
publicly. It's totally different.
The one way
so in the area then those measures we for put in place. We go just say the fight against KOOSH a really sincere and
the
serious.
presidency be need for talk to it because that container where it become it go in and the ground go Kington. After which 2 of the main staff they went at security where the news be they go we see them relieve them in office but nothing was say. The police and the soldier we see them relieve them from the state house. So we are the sincerity about these issues where they go on. So as a nation, containers really get for be certified and we will really try for investigate chemicals them. But one thing again, the Minister of Health talker, most of them a substance they are now when they combine for make them here in the 2001 Pharmacy Act qualify them as substance the way they can at the country. And what we they see in other countries than they do. And the Ministry of Health, this public state of emergency we don't get. Let us please introduce prescription before you buy medication. More not go to buy medication above the counter. If we not do that, after we don't talk about KOOSH. Other drug will soon come. Now Gladi don't do now. Another drug don't come now. Gladi they under now.
They bring in Imran to me as he will respond to our government for really support the judiciary so that the fight against KOOSH of anybody where they go offend one thing go show the government serious. Mr. Tommy?
No, I just be say I lose my trend of thought actually. Maybe in the future now if allow me for finish, then I'll take on our guest.
Okay.
But the point up they make is that the judiciary obviously get a big role for play, but that whole process is start with the police, the law enforcement agencies, make sure so you give them the support for the proper investigation. But once it comes to the judiciary, I think 2 things so the judiciary can do now for make sure say they expeditiously look into their issues then, but more importantly, make sure say the judgment be based on the evidence before them. And maybe I'll go back to the point where I make earlier on in terms of the statement of the Vice President, where he talks as head of the police council, you can make sure say the police now grant bail. Obviously, I'm sure we all try for talk tough for make sure say people like when they sell drugs or perhaps even partake of drug, say government don't change its stance. It was tough talk, but let me just say from the point of the rule of law, waiting the VP say not get nothing for do with the judiciary because ultimately, even if the police refuse bail, we get law now this country say the judiciary obviously if you arrest person in the police, if na minor offense within 3 days, if you bring an a court, if na serious one within 10 days, if you bring an a court. So whether or not you grant them bail, make sure no more say you comply with the constitution provision, bring an a court, and within the VP say not get nothing for do the judiciary. So I just want to say from the point of view of the rule of law, in fact that is why you have the state or justice architecture set up in that way, so that you get the judiciary with really the review as it were waiting the police to do. So police can detain person for 3 days under the law. After that, if we bring an a court, or 10 days depending on the nature of the offense and bring an a court. But basically, the judiciary needs support. But more than just the judiciary, as I've said, let me repeat myself. We also need huge support for not just the enforcement agencies like Mr. Kaikai's, but also the health sector with the mental home. We need rehabilitation. We need community intervention. communities, families, civil society will all need to raise awareness about the dangers of drug abuse and make sure to support families. Let's go to the schools. Let's go to the communities and make sure we support this fight against not just KOOSH. I'm sure now KOOSH you only talk about, but there's a lot happening that way worse than KOOSH or equally serious as KOOSH.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim Tommy, Executive Director, Center for Accountability and Rule of Law. We'll be making your point from the legal point of view on the national emergency. Over to you, Mr. Kaikai. What next as the way forward in addressing the fight against KOOSH and other drug substance?
As we talk, government they round up, putting preparations in place for continuing the fight. That make if when I listen president, when president be talk on Thursday, president used the word say we will continue for raise awareness. When he said the reason why he said we will continue for raise awareness is because we are the NDLEA, including my brother Habibu Sidonaya, we have been massive on community sensitization, raising awareness. When that make the public now, everybody now, because if we not be go out there raising awareness, sensitization, reaching out to the KOOSH victims, them nobody not before they see their show foot them. But we bring that account out to the public. So with President in message, not just a continuation of Wusa Ogodonde. Okay. We already get a rehabilitation center, the first in the country, where they Hastings. And President address make tell una say from now on, all over the country, it will make sure say it provide the resources for the rehabilitation center so that we will continue to take care of the users there.
Okay, plenty thank you to you. In name na Andrew Jaiah Kaikai, Executive Director, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, where they talk about after the declaration how the fight against KOOSH don't tell like so far. Over to you, Babe Kamara, quickly.
And I just want to call upon government, we for address NDLEA. NDLEA is the issue that then getting moral powers for reach, for try for support the logistics time for Gemo to car. And from Thursday to now, government for don't get a meeting or the one they really in charge with NDLEA. And again, if we really serious want to see this thing, let us put priorities on where priorities lies. The NDLEA, the communities, like what my brother Tommy they say, the rehabilitation, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Social Welfare for the rehabilitation. We for put on key in this fight if we want to succeed.